Lace up those hiking boots, everybody, because today we're going on an adventure.
Adventure.
To some of the most iconic trails on this planet.
Yeah, around the world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So get ready for some amazing views and some serious inspiration because we're diving deep into 8 of the most famous hikes you can imagine.
Bucket list stuff.
Absolutely bucket list material. And to guide us on this journey, we've got this awesome overview of each hike.
Packed with details and highlights.
It is. So our mission today is to give you a taste of what makes each of these hikes so special. What are the must-know details?
What challenges should you be ready for?
Yeah, and what makes these trails capture the imaginations of adventurers all over the world.
We'll even touch on what these hikes reveal about us as humans, like why are we drawn to these experiences?
I love that. Okay, so let's kick things off with a trail that probably needs no introduction.
The Inca Trail.
To Machu Picchu in Peru.
Yeah, one of the new 7 wonders of the world.
It is. What makes this hike so iconic in your view?
Well, for many, it's that allure of walking in the footsteps of an ancient civilization. Imagine this. You're trekking through cloud forests and over high mountain passes surrounded by remnants of Inca settlements.
Wow, it's like you're stepping back in time.
Exactly. It's not just a hike.
It's a journey through history.
Right. And speaking of history, we can't forget about the incredible Inca ruins along the way.
Oh, yeah. Those are a huge part of the experience.
Very.
What are some of the highlights that hikers get to see?
Oh, there are so many, but I'll point out a few. You'll pass by Runkurkai, this intriguing circular ruin that's believed to have been a tambo, like a resting place for travelers.
Fascinating.
Then there's Sayakmarka, perched high on a cliff with these impressive agricultural terraces.
Talk about a view.
Oh, and just before reaching Machu Picchu itself, you'll encounter Huayna, this agricultural and religious site with stunning stonework and a breathtaking view of the valley below.
It's almost like a scavenger hunt through time, uncovering these incredible sites as you make your way to Machu Picchu.
Yeah, it is. Each site offers a glimpse into the Incas' mastery of engineering and their deep connection with the environment.
Incredible.
Yeah.
But it's not a hike you can just decide to do on a whim, right? I've heard permits are pretty limited.
That's right. The Peruvian government has implemented strict regulations to protect the trail.
So how limited are we talking?
Only 500 people are allowed on the trail each day.
Wow.
And that includes guides and porters.
So if you're thinking about doing this hike, planning ahead is essential.
Absolutely. It's not something you can just decide to do last minute if this is on your bucket list. Start planning well in advance.
Good advice. And I can only imagine that limited access just makes the whole experience even more special.
It definitely adds to that sense of anticipation and accomplishment.
But speaking of limited access, it does make me wonder about the impact on the environment.
Yeah.
With that many people wanting to hike the Inca Trail, how do they make sure the ecosystem is protected?
That's the big question. It's definitely a balancing act. The permits help to control the number of hikers, but the sheer volume does raise concerns about things like erosion waste management and the preservation of those ancient sites.
It's a lot to consider.
It is responsible tourism is absolutely crucial here.
I think that's a great takeaway. It's not just about checking off a bucket list item. It's about respecting the trail, the environment, and the history that surrounds it.
I couldn't agree more. Now, how about we switch gears from the ancient ruins of Peru to the towering peaks of the Himalayas?
Okay, from the Andes to the Himalayas, let's do it.
We're heading to the Annapurna Circuit in Nepal.
All right, so what makes the Annapurna Circuit stand out from the other incredible hikes we're going to be talking about?
Well, while the Inca Trail is very much about a destination, getting to Machu Picchu, the Annapurna Circuit is more about the journey itself.
So it's the experience along the way.
Exactly. We're talking about a 17-day trek through some of the most breathtaking and diverse landscapes on Earth.
17 days?
Yeah, it's a commitment.
That is quite a commitment. So what can hikers expect to encounter along the way?
Prepare yourself for some serious beauty. You'll start in lush subtropical valleys, ascend through rhododendron forests. Imagine these vibrant colors.
Wow.
You'll cross high-altitude deserts.
High-altitude deserts. That's a new one.
And eventually reach the iconic Thorong La Pass, which sits at a dizzying 17,769 feet.
Wow, that altitude is nothing to sneeze at. What kind of physical and mental preparation is needed to tackle something like Thorong La?
Well, altitude sickness is a major concern at those heights.
Of course.
So acclimatizing slowly is essential. The trek is designed to help you do that with those gradual ascents and rest days built into the itinerary. But even with the best preparation, altitude can affect people differently.
Right, everyone's body responds differently.
Yeah, physical fitness is important, of course, but mental fortitude plays a huge role as well.
So it's as much a mental challenge as a physical one.
Absolutely. You're pushing your boundaries, dealing with unpredictable weather, and sometimes just putting one foot in front of the other when your body's screaming for you to stop. But the rewards, they're immeasurable.
I can imagine. And you mentioned starting in lush valleys and ending up in high-altitude deserts. It sounds like the Annapurna Circuit offers a real variety of landscapes.
No, it does.
What about the cultural side of things?
You'll pass through villages, encounter diverse ethnic groups, and experience the incredible hospitality of the Nepalese people. It's a chance to witness a way of life that's deeply connected to the mountains.
So it's a cultural immersion as much as a physical challenge.
Exactly. And speaking of physical challenges, let's shift our focus to another iconic peak,
Okay, let's do it.
Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania.
Kilimanjaro, the roof of Africa. This is a hike that's on a lot of people's bucket lists. What sets this climb apart from the others?
Well, for one, it's the highest mountain in Africa, standing tall at 19,341 feet. But it's also the highest single freestanding mountain above sea level in the world, meaning it rises directly from the plains, creating this incredibly imposing presence.
So it's not just about the altitude, it's the sheer scale of the mountain that makes it so impressive.
Exactly. And unlike some of the more technical climbs in the Himalayas, Kilimanjaro is considered a trek.
Yep.
Meaning you don't need ropes or specialized climbing gear, but don't let that fool you. It's still an incredibly challenging climb.
I bet.
That requires proper acclimatization, physical fitness, and mental fortitude.
And I've heard there are different routes up Kilimanjaro, each with its own set of challenges and rewards. Can you tell us a little bit about those?
Sure. There are 7 established routes, each offering a different experience. Some, like the Marangu route, are known for their gradual ascents and hut accommodations, making them popular choices for those seeking a more comfortable trek. Others, like the Masham route, are more challenging with steeper climbs and camping accommodations, but they offer more stunning scenery and a greater sense of remoteness.
So there's really a route for every type of hiker, from those seeking a more gradual ascent to those looking for a true wilderness experience.
Exactly. But regardless of the route you choose, altitude sickness is a serious concern, and proper acclimatization is crucial. It's not a race to the top. It's about respecting the mountain and listening to your body.
That's wise advice, and I imagine that feeling of accomplishment when you reach the summit, that must be incredible.
It's truly a powerful moment, standing on the roof of Africa, watching the sun rise over the clouds. It's an experience that stays with you long after you descend.
It sounds like an incredible journey from the ancient trails of the Inca to the towering heights of Kilimanjaro. We've already covered so much ground, and there's still so much more to explore.
Oh, there is. Next, we'll be taking a closer look at the Everest Base Camp trek, another iconic Himalayan adventure.
Oh, wow.
And then we'll venture to South America to experience the dramatic landscapes of the Torres del Paine W trek in Chile.
I can't wait. Stay with us.
Welcome back to our deep dive into iconic hikes around the world.
We've journeyed from the ancient Inca Trail to the summit of Kilimanjaro.
And now
we're heading back
to the Himalayas. Yeah.
This time we're setting our sights on
Everest Base Camp.
Everest Base Camp, a trek that brings you face to face with
The highest mountain on Earth.
the highest mountain on Earth, Mount Everest.
Yeah, for many, this trek is a pilgrimage, a chance to experience the raw power and majesty of the Himalayas while standing in the shadow of Mount Everest.
It's a chance to walk in the footsteps of legendary mountaineers and experience the unique Sherpa culture that's so deeply intertwined with this region.
Absolutely.
What are some of the highlights that stand out to you about this trek?
Well, the scenery is truly breathtaking. You'll trek through the Khumbu Valley, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, surrounded by towering peaks, glaciers, and prayer flags fluttering in the wind. The scale of the landscape is simply awe-inspiring.
I can only imagine. And you mentioned the Sherpa culture. What kind of insights can hikers gain into their way of life?
The Sherpa people have an incredible connection to these mountains. They're known for their strength, resilience, and their mountaineering skills. Along the trek, you'll pass through villages like Namche Bazaar, the Sherpa capital, where you can experience their hospitality, learn about their traditions, and maybe even visit a monastery.
So it's an opportunity not just to witness the beauty of the Himalayas, but to understand the culture that has thrived in this challenging environment for centuries?
Exactly. And speaking of challenges, altitude is a major factor on this trek. Base camp itself sits at 17,598 feet.
Wow, that's even higher than Thorongla Pass on the Annapurna Circuit.
It is so acclimatizing properly is essential.
What kind of advice would you give to someone who's considering this trek?
Well, I'd say start preparing early. Physical fitness is crucial, of course.
Of course.
But mental preparation is equally important. Altitude can affect people differently, and it's important to listen to your body and respect the mountain. A good tour operator can also be invaluable, providing experienced guides and porters to help carry your gear and ensuring your safety and comfort along the way.
So it's a combination of physical training, mental fortitude, and finding the right support system.
Precisely. And speaking of incredible landscapes and unique cultures, let's shift gears from the Himalayas to South America.
Okay, let's go.
We're heading to Chile to explore the Torres del Paine W Trek in Patagonia.
Patagonia, the land of glaciers, granite peaks, and turquoise lakes. I'm already picturing the scenery of what makes this trek so special.
Torres del Paine National Park is a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve, and the W Trek takes you through the heart of it.
So you're really immersed in the wilderness.
Yeah, the name comes from the shape of the trail, which resembles a W on the map, and each point of that W offers a different perspective on the park's iconic landmarks.
Okay, so we're talking about dramatic peaks, glaciers, lakes. What about the wildlife? I've heard Patagonia is home to some pretty amazing creatures.
You're right, you might spot guanacos, which are related to llamas grazing in the grasslands.
Oh, cool.
And if you're lucky, you might catch a glimpse of a soaring Andean condor, a bird with an incredible wingspan of up to 10 feet.
Wow, 10 feet. That's amazing. What are the chances of actually spotting guanacos or condors on the W Trek?
Well, guanacos are relatively common, especially in certain areas of the park. Condors are a bit more elusive, but if you keep your eyes peeled and maybe bring a good pair of binoculars, you might just be rewarded with a sighting. It's important to remember that we're visitors in their habitat, and observing wildlife from a respectful distance is crucial.
That's a good point. It's their home, and we need to respect that. Speaking of respect, we've talked about the impact of tourism on some of these trails, like the Inca Trail and Everest Base Camp. Are there similar concerns in Torres del Paine?
Absolutely. Patagonia has seen a significant increase in tourism in recent years, and while it brings economic benefits, it also puts pressure on the environment. The Chilean government has been working hard to promote sustainable tourism practices, including limiting group sizes, implementing strict waste management policies, and educating visitors about responsible behavior in the park.
It's all about finding that balance, right, between sharing these incredible places with the world and preserving them for future generations.
Exactly. Now let's hop across the Pacific Ocean to a place often called the finest walk in the world.
I've heard of this one.
The Milford Track in New Zealand.
New Zealand, the land of Middle Earth and apparently incredible hikes.
Yeah.
What makes the Milford Trek live up to that finest walk claim?
Yeah.
Is it the scenery, the challenge, the remoteness?
It's all of that and more. The Milford Track is located in Fiordland National Park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site known for its pristine beauty and dramatic landscapes. The trail takes you through lush rainforests, past towering waterfalls like Sutherland Falls, one of the tallest in the world, and along the edge of Milford Sound, a fjord carved by glaciers.
It sounds incredibly picturesque. But what about accessibility? Is it a challenging trek?
The Milford Track is a 33-mile one-way trek that typically takes 4 days to complete. It's considered a moderate hike, meaning you don't need technical skills, but a good level of fitness is required. The trail is well maintained with comfortable huts for overnight stays, so you don't have to carry camping gear.
So while it's challenging, it's accessible to a wider range of hikers than, say, the Annapurna Circuit or Kilimanjaro.
Exactly. And the Milford Track is also known for its incredible biodiversity. You'll encounter unique flora and fauna, including the cheeky key, a mountain parrot known for its intelligence and mischievous nature.
I love that. Hike with personality.
Okay.
From the remote beauty of New Zealand, let's head back to Europe for a trek that spans 3 countries.
The Tour de Mont Blanc.
The Tour de Mont Blanc.
Yeah.
3 countries in one hike. That's an amazing way to experience the diversity of the Alps. What kind of landscapes can hikers expect along the way?
You'll encounter a real mix of terrain, lush meadows filled with wildflowers, rocky trails leading to high mountain passes, glacial valleys carved by ancient ice, and charming villages nestled in the valleys.
So it's a real sampler platter of alpine landscapes and cultures.
Yeah.
And how challenging is this trek?
The full Tour du Mont Blanc is approximately 105 miles long and usually takes around 10 to 12 days to complete. It's considered a moderate to challenging trek with some steep ascents and descents, but the trail is well marked and there are plenty of options for accommodation, from campsites to mountain huts to charming hotels in the villages.
So it sounds like a trek that can be tailored to different fitness levels and preferences. You can really choose your own adventure.
That's right. And speaking of choosing your own adventure, let's wrap up our European leg of this virtual journey with a trek known for its rugged beauty and demanding terrain.
Let's hear it.
The GR20 in Corsica.
Corsica, an island known for its stunning coastline and mountainous interior. What makes the GR20 stand out from the other treks we've discussed?
The GR20 is considered one of the toughest long-distance trails in Europe.
Oh, wow. It's a 112-mile north-to-south traverse of the island's mountainous spine, with challenging terrain, steep climbs, and exposed sections that require a good head for heights.
So this is one for experienced hikers who are looking for a real challenge.
Definitely. The GR20 requires a high level of fitness preparation and a solid understanding of mountain safety. But the rewards are equally impressive. You'll experience some of the most rugged and pristine landscapes in the Mediterranean, with breathtaking views of the coastline and the surrounding mountains.
It sounds like an incredible test of both physical and mental strength.
It is. But the sense of accomplishment upon completing the GR20 is unparalleled. Now, as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to shift our focus to a broader question. We've talked about the physical challenges, the stunning scenery, the cultural insights, but what is it about these iconic hikes that draws us to them in the first place? Why do we feel this urge to push our limits and immerse ourselves in nature?
That's a great question. What are your thoughts? I think there's something deeply ingrained in us, a yearning to connect with something larger than ourselves, to test our boundaries, and to experience the world in its rawest form.
It's like we're seeking a sense of purpose, a connection to something primal, something beyond the everyday routine.
Exactly. And in a world that often feels increasingly disconnected and virtual, these hikes offer a chance to reconnect with nature, with ourselves, and with something timeless and profound.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive.
Yeah.
We've been on an incredible journey so far, exploring some truly iconic hikes.
And as we wrap up our exploration, I want to highlight something we've touched on throughout this deep dive.
Yeah.
The transformative power of these experiences.
Absolutely. It's not just about checking off a bucket list item. It's about the personal growth, the challenges you overcome, and the profound impact these hikes can have on our perspective.
Exactly. It's about pushing beyond our comfort zones and discovering this inner strength and resilience we might not have known we had.
You know, think about those moments of doubt on the Inca Trail, the fatigue setting in as you climb those steep stone steps.
Yes.
But then you emerge from the cloud forest and see this breathtaking Incan ruin bathed in sunlight, and suddenly you're filled with a renewed sense of wonder and purpose.
It's amazing how those challenges become stepping stones to a deeper understanding of ourselves and our place in the world.
And that sense of accomplishment, when you finally reach the Sun Gate and see Machu Picchu for the first time, that must be euphoric.
Absolutely. And that feeling isn't just about the view. It's about proving to yourself that you're capable of more than you thought possible.
And that newfound confidence,
Ooh.
it translates to other areas of life, doesn't it?
That's so.
It gives you the courage to tackle new challenges and embrace the unknown.
It's a ripple effect. And these transformations, they're not limited to the physically demanding hikes, remember? The Milford Track, known for its accessibility and well-maintained trails.
Right. It's considered a more moderate hike, but it still offers those profound experiences.
Exactly. The Milford Track isn't about conquering rugged terrain. It's about immersing yourself in the pristine beauty of Fiordland National Park. It's about those moments of quiet contemplation as you walk through lush rainforests and alongside waterfalls that seem to cascade from the heavens.
It sounds like the kind of experience that allows you to disconnect from the noise of everyday life and reconnect with a deeper sense of peace and tranquility.
Precisely. And speaking of peace and tranquility, that brings us to another important aspect of these iconic hikes, the opportunity for solitude and introspection.
Whether you're trekking solo or with a group, there's something about being in nature that invites that reflection.
Yeah, those quiet moments on the trail surrounded by breathtaking scenery allow you to connect with your thoughts and feelings in a way that's often difficult to achieve in our busy lives.
It's like the mountains become a space for self-discovery, a place to contemplate your values, your goals, and your place in the grand scheme of things.
And sometimes that solitude leads to these unexpected insights and breakthroughs. It's a chance to listen to that inner voice that often gets drowned out by the demands of daily life.
So these hikes, they're not just physical journeys, but mental, emotional, even spiritual ones. They push us to grow in ways we might not have anticipated.
Speaking of pushing ourselves, I think it's worth revisiting the GR20 in Corsica, known for its rugged terrain and demanding climbs.
Right. That one's definitely for experienced hikers who are seeking a real challenge.
It is, and it requires a different kind of transformation, one that's forged in resilience, determination, and the ability to dig deep when faced with adversity.
It's about facing your fears head on and pushing through those moments of self-doubt.
Exactly. And when you finally reach the end of that grueling trail, the sense of accomplishment is unparalleled. You've not only conquered a physical challenge, you've proven to yourself that you're capable of overcoming any obstacle.
It's a powerful lesson that translates to all aspects of life.
It is, and as we conclude our deep dive into these iconic hikes, I want to leave you with this thought. We've talked about conquering mountains, pushing limits, and achieving goals, but perhaps the most profound lesson these journeys teach us is the importance of surrender.
Surrender. What do you mean by that?
It's about surrendering to the power of nature, to the unpredictable elements, to the humbling realization that we are but small beings in a vast and awe-inspiring universe.
So it's about letting go of control, embracing the unknown, and accepting that the journey itself is the destination.
Exactly. It's about finding peace in the present moment, appreciating the beauty that surrounds us, and trusting that the path, however challenging it may seem, will ultimately lead us to where we need to be.
That's beautiful. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey. We hope we've sparked your wanderlust and inspired you to embark on your own adventures, both on the trail and in the grand adventure of life itself.
And remember, whether you're scaling a mountain or navigating the challenges of everyday life, the most important thing is to embrace the journey step by step with an open heart and a curious mind.
Happy trails, everyone.